The 4-year cycle exists because of the halving cycle. And the halving cycle is hard coded. That is not going away. And the supply, so we had the demand shock. That was what I was saying. We had the demand shock, right? We got the approval of these things so the average person can now start buying. The thing is, when you have a demand shock, price rises. And that's what we're seeing. But now we're about to have a supply shock. And at the amount of inflows, okay, that's happening right now, we're buying 3 times the current production. That'll turn to 6 times the current production.
Every 4 years, Bitcoin experiences a halving event, wherein the rate of new Bitcoin creation is reduced by half. This results in a gradual decrease in the overall supply growth of Bitcoin. The next Bitcoin halving is expected to occur in April 2024. At the same time, demand for Bitcoin has been consistently rising due to factors such as institutional adoption, investor interest, and its growing recognition as a legitimate asset class and store of value. When fewer new Bitcoins are being made and more people want to buy them, it causes a big change in the Bitcoin market called a supply shock. Since few new Bitcoins are coming in and more people are trying to get them, Bitcoin becomes harder to find. This makes it more valuable, and the price of Bitcoin could go up as people compete to get their hands on the limited supply of the cryptocurrency. This is what renowned investor and financial expert Mark Yusko explains in a discussion with Mike Ippolito of Blockworks Macro. Yusko suggests that the recent rise in demand for Bitcoin will likely continue due to resistance from established entities, resulting in a gradual increase in investment flowing into Bitcoin. Additionally, he notes a shift in market sentiment, with more individuals recognizing Bitcoin's potential and feeling a sense of urgency to participate in market activities to avoid missing out on potential gains. With the recent approval of ETFs, Yusko anticipates a broader adoption of Bitcoin by average investors, with allocations in major portfolios expected to increase. Let us now take a look at some clips as Mark Yusko shares his insights regarding the current status and near future of Bitcoin. As you watch these clips, we hope you give us your support. Please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us going and allows us to bring you interesting updates on crypto finance. We hope you enjoy the video.
Supply and demand story. And look, we talked about this for months leading up to the eventual approval, which we nailed, by the way. I mean, we were off by 2 days, 3 days, but we nailed it.
Well, you nailed, to be honest. You were calling it to me.
Well, but where are we? So, and I think what people just haven't internalized is it's this 2-step process, right? Is we had the demand shock, which is this sailor-esque appetite, but not a one-time. I mean, Michael was like a one-time chomp, and then he'd digest, and then he'd chomp, and then he'd digest, kind of like a dinosaur, or, python. And this is more of, I don't know what the most voracious jungle cat is that, is eating and hunting, not daily, but weekly. I mean, this is going to go on for a very long time because of the resistance from the powers that be, right? Everyone who aligns with the Warren clan said, nope, that's not welcome here. Those new ETFs, they're not welcome here. And one by one, over time, that's going to fall and it's going to increase the amount of capital that's trying to squish through the gate. And when everyone suddenly FOMOs and other people started running, because if they're running, there must be no. So that's kind of what I feel is people are waking up to. The 4-year cycle exists because of the halving cycle. And the halving cycle is hard coded. That is not going away. And the supply, so we had the demand shock. That was what I was saying. We had the demand shock, right? We got the approval of these things so the average person can now start buying. It's now a 1%, actually 1 to 3% allocation in the Fidelity broad portfolio. So they have a portfolio, they have an ETF that is all their other ETFs allocated based on their strategic view. And they have a 1 to 3% weighting and a 1% position in FBTC. But the thing is, when you have a demand shock, price rises. And that's what we're seeing. But now we're about to have a supply shock. And that supply shock, guaranteed, whether it's 417, 418, people are wishing it's 420. It doesn't really matter what day it is. It's happening. And we're going to go from 900 a day to 450 a day. And at the amount of inflows, that's happening right now, we're buying 3 times the current production. That'll turn to 6 times the current production. But here's the problem. That's only 6 times current production if the miners actually sell. But a couple of the miners actually were buying. I mean, literally, not only were they not selling to pay their electric bills, they were actually in the market buying. Now, that can't happen forever, but that's just a speculative move, people adding to their treasury because they anticipate this move. And, the other thing that doesn't get enough conversation is this idea of treasuries, right? You have MicroStrategy, clearly the biggest part of his treasury. He's basically turned himself into a Bitcoin bank. But other companies have quietly added to, Morgan Creek has Bitcoin on our balance sheet. Now, we're not like Sailor, but...
Many experts and supporters of Bitcoin are expecting that the decrease in new coin supply will make more people want to buy Bitcoin. This could cause the price of Bitcoin to increase in the months before and after the halving event. That said, it might be the right time to load up on more Bitcoin. Meanwhile, in the same discussion, Mark Yusko also talks about economic inequality and a perceived growing gap between different social classes. He explains how decisions made by a small group of people can impact the broader population. One example mentioned was the lockdowns during the pandemic. While these lockdowns were meant to stop the virus from spreading, they also caused a lot of money to move from regular people to a very small group of elites, often referred to as the billionaire class. These are extremely important concerns, and they are also directly related to whether Bitcoin will succeed or fail. Here are more clips of Mark Yusko as he elaborates on this.
There is a class system. There is a group of people that are making decisions that have significant and severe economic consequences for a very large number of people. Take the lockdowns. That was the greatest transfer of economic wealth in the history of mankind. From the masses to a very small number of people. $3.7 trillion went to the, and I don't like the term the billionaire class, but that's who it went to. And we're on an unsustainable path. And I don't know how you feel, but I know how I feel when I watch our leadership talk about economic decisions. I don't feel good about it. And when I see the impact that it has, right? When I see the CEO of McDonald's say that on their own data, households under 45,000 are no longer going to McDonald's because they can't afford it. He actually said that out loud on a recorded line. He said they're being forced to cook at home because a Big Mac meal cost $18 in some places. Are you kidding me? That, and again, if you want to believe that's just an accidental result, like the runaway train, right? No one meant for the train to be going 80 miles an hour with no one on it, running it. It was a series of small little accidents that accumulate. We can believe that. Or we can believe that there's intent, that there is an intention And I talk about this all the time, Dictator Playbook 101. If you want to be absolutely in power, there's tons of examples of this in history. What do? You impoverish the masses and then give them handouts in exchange for votes. And I will argue, it's just my opinion, I will argue that's exactly what's happening right now. There are lots of systematic attempts to buy votes. That's a world I don't really want to live in. I ain't moving yet.
Despite this recurring environment of economic uncertainty, Bitcoin has emerged as an alternative financial system. When people lost trust in regular banks, they turned to Bitcoin because it's not controlled by any government and works independently. Bitcoin has faced a lot of criticism since it started though, with people calling it worthless or even a scam. Back in January 2014, when it was worth around $825, a famous economist named Robert Shiller said it was a bubble. In 2017, when Bitcoin was close to $3,000, Mark Cuban also said it was a bubble. Then, in 2018, when its price dropped to about $3,000 after a big rise, many said Bitcoin was done for. This happened again in 2021, when the price went up to $10,000, $30,000, and even $60,000 before dropping to around $17,000 in 2022. People kept saying it was a bubble and wouldn't recover from the crash. But by January 2024, Bitcoin had gone up about 160% in the past year, currently trading at over $48,000 as of making this video. Once again, it had made a comeback. Part of the reason for this recent rise in price might be because of the SEC's approval of Bitcoin ETFs last January. This allowed big asset managers like Fidelity and BlackRock to offer their clients a way to invest in Bitcoin more easily. But there are other reasons for Bitcoin's rise too, such as the upcoming Bitcoin halving. Also, in 2022, interest rates went up a lot, which made some investors prefer safer investments over volatile ones like Bitcoin. But now, as people talk about lowering interest rates again in 2024, some investors might be more interested in risky investments like Bitcoin. Lastly, there are still people who believe in Bitcoin as a new kind of money, different from regular currencies like the US dollar. They think its true value lies in being a new kind of financial system. But one thing is for sure, Bitcoin is still a volatile asset. In the short term, it could go up or down. But right now, it seems like the people who believe in Bitcoin are winning. Do you agree with Mark Yusko's sentiments? And what are your thoughts on Bitcoin's role in the global economy? Do you believe it has the potential to become a mainstream financial asset? Or do you have reservations about its long-term viability? Share your perspectives in the comments below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions on cryptocurrency and finance. Your engagement helps us continue providing valuable content to our audience. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos as we delve into the world of crypto finance, technology, and everything in between. Until next time, happy investing.